All right, this is chapter 4, video 22. We're going to carry on and look at the next program, and this is called the course code. And if you look at the original executable file, we're trying to understand how that works. We've got a new control here, which is referred to as a list box. And you've seen lots of these controls as you've used programs throughout your life. And here's how to code those. So the objective of this is when I select one of these courses and I click on course code, it's basically going to equate what the code is for that particular course. So for systems analysis and design, that's CSIS 2200. The course that you're taking right now is Introduction to Programming, and that is CSIS 1175. All right, so that gives you an idea of how this program works. Now, if I just select, it doesn't change. I have to click this button. That's the nature of how this works. And then co-op is right there. So these are different courses that I teach here at Douglas. All right, so to make this work, let's go back to our program and have a look at our course code. Now, our course code doesn't have the list box. We need to put that control in here, and I haven't put it there because you guys have never put that control on there. So I want you to go into the toolbox, and you can click on View and go down to Toolbox and bring up this toolbox. And under the Common Controls, we can go down to where it says List Box, and they're in alphabetic order. There it is, and you can drop and drag. That's what I'm going to do, is something like that. And again, the first thing you should probably do is name it. So I'm going to call it my list box, and I'm going to call it courses. So my list box for courses. There we go. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to add in some content, all my courses. So to do that, I'm going to select Edit Items. So there's a little button right here called Edit Items, and I can also go over to my properties and do that here. There's nothing wrong with go down to Items, I believe it is, and go into the collection of items, and you can bring up the same box through the properties, or you can click this little button here and say Edit the Items. Brings up the same box. So what I want to do is I want to paste in or type in all the courses or whatever the list I'm trying to make. So that's my current list. I'm going to say, okay, that's the list, and there it is. The list pops up. So when I compile the program and I'm testing this new control, what I should find is I've got a control with all of these new courses in it. As I scroll down, you can see here, I can scroll. Of course, this button's not working yet, but I need to get the control first. All right, so that's that part. Now, what I'm trying to do is, if you remember the nature of the program, and that is when I select from the list box and then I click the event here called course code, I want it to then look up what I selected, so Introduction to Computers, and I want to associate it to the course code, which is CSIS 1110, for example, or in this example, it's CSIS 1175. All right, so to do that, what I need to do is I need to double click and create an event handler here for my course codes. When I double click that button on my program here, it should open up. Now, it's not working because I've got my debugger running. So let's shut the debugger down, let's shut the toolbox down, and let's double click on my button. There we go. Double check it's correct. When I click my course select button, when I click it, that's this button right here, I want it to execute this. Perfect. All right, so the first thing I want to do again is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to think about do I need to declare, do I need to assign, do I need to calculate anything, or is there a condition? And finally, is there any kind of output that I need to consider doing here on this one? All right, so under the declaration, we could think about, well, we have to select a course. So I'm going to select a variable here called course. And for the assignment statement, and we can do that later. Let's go into the condition. Actually, I'm going to go to the condition next. And again, you don't have to put the assignment in until after. I'm going to just paste in the code for the sake of time here. So I'm going to go in here under calculate, and I'm going to paste in the code. All right, so we're going to be reviewing our code here. So it's a condition, and it's going to say whatever I selected, whatever index I selected, as long as it's not a -1. Now, first of all, let's deal with these errors first. The first thing was this particular box right here was called the list box course. So I'm going to